Welcome to our channel. We are so glad you found your way here. Let us help you fall asleep. Let's begin with the quiet collapse of Sun Microsystems, the fall of the Unix computer firm. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it. Even the tallest towers eventually quiet down. Tonight, we gently explore the empty boardrooms and forgotten ambitions of the past. Your mind is calm, and we are ready to begin. In 1982, Sun Microsystems emerged from the innovative minds of 4 Stanford University graduates. Their vision revolved around the potential of networked computing, a concept that would soon redefine the landscape of information technology. It began with a focus on creating workstations that leveraged the power of the Unix operating system, allowing users to harness computing capabilities that were previously limited to mainframes. The founders, Bill Joy, Andy Bechtolsheim, Vinod Khosla, and Scott McNealy, shared a commitment to open systems. They aimed to foster collaboration and interoperability, positioning themselves as pioneers in a rapidly evolving industry. This ethos attracted attention and investment, enabling the company to grow swiftly. Their early products, such as the Sun One workstation, showcased a blend of hardware and software designed for efficiency and performance, appealing to universities and research institutions. The early success of Sun Microsystems set a foundation marked by innovation and strategic partnerships. It captured the imagination of a generation eager to embrace the future of computing. As interest in distributed architectures expanded, the firm began to cement its place in the market, offering solutions that catered to both technical and business needs. This initial phase of growth heralded the potential for significant influence within the tech community, shaping the trajectory of computing in the years to come. The region of Silicon Valley served as a fertile ground for innovation, a crucible of ideas that fostered connections between ambitious entrepreneurs and visionary engineers. Nestled within this landscape, the emergence of Sun Microsystems was emblematic of the synergy that defined the local technology sector during the 1980s. Early practitioners in this area were driven by a relentless pursuit of progress, creating an environment where groundbreaking advancements flourished. Startups proliferated, often emerging from the collaborative spirit among peers who shared a passion for computer science. The rapid evolution of personal computing and networking technologies provided a backdrop for Sun's initial forays into the market. This dynamic ecosystem encouraged experimentation, fueling a race to enhance performance and usability in computing systems. As Sun Microsystems developed its Unix-based systems, it became a key player in a community that valued open-source principles and interoperability. The company's commitment to these ideals helped it carve out a niche within the competitive landscape, appealing to a diverse clientele ranging from academic institutions to large enterprises. The influence of this environment extended beyond mere technological advancements. It fostered a culture of innovation that would define the very essence of Silicon Valley, setting a precedent for future generations of tech companies seeking to engage with the ever-evolving digital landscape. Scott McNealy served as the charismatic leader, guiding the organization with a vision that embraced open systems and network computing. His belief in making technology accessible to all drove the company forward, cultivating an environment where creativity could flourish. This mindset attracted talented individuals eager to contribute to the burgeoning realm of computing. Bill Joy, a co-founder and a visionary in his own right, played an instrumental role in the development of key technologies. His work on the Berkeley software distribution laid the groundwork for many of the Unix systems that would later be implemented within the company. Joy's innovative approach established a reputation for excellence, reinforcing the organization's standing in the tech community. Vinod Khosla, another pivotal figure, brought a keen business acumen that complemented the technical prowess of his colleagues. His ability to identify emerging markets and trends allowed the organization to pivot and adapt as the tech landscape shifted. Khosla's strategic insight was vital in navigating the competitive pressures that would eventually challenge the organization's dominance. Together, these individuals shaped a company that not only thrived during its peak, but also left an indelible mark on the industry. Their contributions, while significant, would not be enough to prevent the decline that lay ahead, reflecting the often unforgiving nature of technological evolution. Initial funding played a pivotal role in shaping the early trajectory of this firm. Seed money, sourced primarily from venture capital, provided the necessary resources to develop groundbreaking technology. Early investors, recognizing the potential of Unix-based systems, injected substantial amounts into the company, fostering an environment ripe for innovation. This influx of capital allowed for the recruitment of talented engineers and the establishment of ambitious research initiatives. A culture of creativity thrived during this formative period, as the firm launched a series of pioneering products that captured the attention of both businesses and consumers. Their work on networked workstations positioned them as a leader in the burgeoning field of computing. The bold vision of its founders, coupled with strong financial backing, created a foundation that seemed unshakable. As time progressed, however, the landscape began to shift. Competition intensified, and new technologies emerged that disrupted the market. The very seed money that once fueled growth now became a double-edged sword, leading to increased expectations from investors. Pressure mounted to deliver consistent returns, creating an environment that often prioritized short-term gains over long-term innovation. This relentless pursuit of profit began to overshadow the original mission, marking the onset of a gradual decline. The innovative spirit that had defined those early years faded, replaced by a focus on maintaining relevance in an ever-changing technological landscape. The introduction of the SPARC architecture marked a pivotal moment in this firm's trajectory. Initially conceived to leverage reduced instruction set computing, this innovation aimed to offer superior performance and efficiency. It presented a new paradigm, allowing systems to execute instructions in a streamlined manner, thereby optimizing processing power for demanding applications. The SPARC architecture garnered attention for its scalability, enabling the development of a range of products that could cater to varied market needs. This adaptability created a sense of optimism, as it positioned the firm as a leader in the burgeoning field of RISC technology. The early success of SPARC contributed to a robust ecosystem of software and hardware solutions, reinforcing its dominance in the Unix market. As years progressed, the enthusiasm surrounding this technology waned. Competition intensified, with other companies emerging with alternative architectures that challenged the established norms. The once bright trajectory began to show signs of stagnation, as the innovative edge dulled under the weight of market pressures and shifting consumer preferences. Initiatives to revitalize the SPARC line struggled to maintain momentum. The allure of new technologies, such as x86 architecture, gradually eroded the firm's market share. In this evolving landscape, what had once been a game changer began to lose its prominence, signaling deeper challenges ahead. The Sun One emerged as a pioneering product, a workstation that marked a significant milestone in computing history. Designed to cater to the needs of developers and engineers, it offered an innovative approach that combined power and accessibility. This workstation introduced a graphical user interface, allowing users to engage with the system in a more intuitive manner. Its architecture, built on the Unix operating system, positioned it as a reliable platform for demanding applications. Interest surged within academic and corporate sectors, as this workstation facilitated complex tasks previously thought impossible for personal computers. The Sun One's capability to run multiple programs simultaneously attracted a dedicated user base, further solidifying its role in the development of networked environments. It fostered collaboration and communication among professionals across various disciplines, contributing to a burgeoning software ecosystem. The impact of this creation rippled throughout the industry, prompting competitors to reevaluate their own offerings. As more organizations adopted the Sun One, the perception of workstations shifted, laying the groundwork for a future where powerful computing would become more commonplace. This shift cultivated an environment rich with innovation, yet set the stage for increased competition, which would eventually challenge the very foundation of the Sun Microsystems brand. The early success of the Sun One masked emerging vulnerabilities that would later become apparent. Open systems offered a pathway to interoperability, allowing diverse computing environments to communicate seamlessly. This concept was central to Sun Microsystems' strategic positioning within the market. By embracing an open licensing model for their Unix operating system, they facilitated broader access and adaptability, drawing in a wide array of developers and organizations. This decision positioned it as a leader in the Unix space, fostering a community that thrived on innovation and collaboration. Initial enthusiasm manifested in a flourishing ecosystem, where third-party vendors contributed significantly to the software offerings available for Sun's hardware. This openness, however, gradually introduced complexities. The very flexibility that attracted partners also allowed competitors to emerge, leveraging similar technologies without the same constraints. As the landscape shifted, it became apparent that this approach, while revolutionary, risked diluting the brand's distinct value proposition. In time, the proliferation of alternatives within the open systems paradigm led to increased fragmentation. The once unified vision of Unix began to splinter as various factions developed divergent paths. This fragmentation not only challenged Sun's market dominance, but also strained relationships within its community. The initial allure of open systems morphed into a double-edged sword, highlighting vulnerabilities that would. The launch of Sun OS marked a pivotal moment in the company's trajectory, representing a commitment to performance and efficiency. This operating system, specifically designed for the demands of Unix computing, attracted a dedicated user base. It offered developers a robust platform, facilitating innovation and customization, which aligned with the emerging trends of the tech landscape. Over time, this advancement fostered an environment ripe for collaboration among software engineers. They embraced the open architecture, contributing to a growing ecosystem of applications tailored for Sun OS. Despite its initial success, competition soon surfaced. Rivals began to emerge, each vying for market share in the burgeoning Unix space, continuously enhancing their offerings. This shift inevitably placed pressure on Sun Microsystems, forcing it to adapt and innovate at an increasingly rapid pace. As the years progressed, the burgeoning reliance on Sun OS began to reveal inconsistencies. Users encountered challenges in scaling their systems, and performance issues emerged. These complications proved detrimental to the brand's reputation, pushing existing clients to explore alternative solutions. The promise of seamless connectivity and interoperability began to wane, as the once celebrated operating system struggled to keep pace with evolving technologies. This decline in reliability marked a turning point, igniting a slow unraveling of the company's foundational strengths. Competitive pressures mounted, and the vision that once drove Sun OS became obscured. The rise of network computing marked a pivotal transformation within this organization. It embraced the concept of distributed systems, envisioning a future where computing resources would be interconnected across diverse platforms. This approach aligned with the burgeoning demand for collaboration and data sharing, highlighting a shift towards more communal computing experiences. Their technology facilitated seamless communication, allowing users to access resources remotely and efficiently. This vision was not merely an adaptation, but a significant reimagining of how computing could evolve. They leveraged the capabilities of their hardware and software to create an ecosystem that emphasized the importance of connectivity. The introduction of robust network protocols and the focus on open standards fostered an environment that encouraged innovation and integration. It became a cornerstone of their identity within the technology landscape. As these ideas took hold, organizations began to recognize the potential of networked systems for enhancing productivity. This recognition enabled the company to carve out a niche in the increasingly competitive market. Yet, the initial enthusiasm eventually yielded to the challenges posed by rapid advancements in technology and shifting consumer expectations. The vision that once seemed so promising began to falter under the weight of emerging competitors and evolving paradigms. This gradual disillusionment underscored the fragility of even the most compelling concepts within the realm of technology, marking the beginning of a slow decline. During the late 1980s, this company experienced a notable period of financial growth, driven by an expanding market for Unix-based systems. Revenue surged, reflecting a burgeoning demand for robust computing solutions among businesses eager to enhance their capabilities. The innovative architecture of their workstations captured the attention of enterprises, allowing for the development of a diverse range of applications. Market expansion was evident as it forged strategic partnerships and alliances, further bolstering its presence. Collaborations with software developers and hardware manufacturers positioned it as a pivotal player in the landscape of computing. This era marked a time when the potential of Unix was harnessed to meet the increasing complexities of corporate infrastructure. With an influx of capital, the organization invested heavily in research and development, aiming to maintain its competitive edge. New product lines emerged, showcasing advanced features that appealed to a growing clientele. The allure of high-performance systems resonated with technologists, cementing its reputation as a pioneer in the industry. Despite the successes during this peak, underlying challenges began to materialize. The rapid evolution of technology brought forth new competitors, each vying for market share. While revenue figures painted a picture of prosperity, the seeds of disruption were quietly sown, laying the groundwork for future difficulties. The emergence of the network file system reshaped the landscape of file sharing. This innovation facilitated seamless access to files across diverse systems, enhancing collaboration within organizations. It enabled users to retrieve and store data from remote servers as if they were local, fostering a sense of interconnectedness that had previously been elusive. The introduction of NFS marked a significant technological advancement, positioning the Fading Company as a leader in network computing. This pioneering solution attracted attention from various sectors, particularly in the realms of academic research and enterprise computing. Institutions recognized its potential to streamline workflows and enhance productivity. The ability to share files across networks transformed not only daily operations, but also the way teams approached projects. Initial implementations sparked enthusiasm and led to further refinements as the technology matured. As adoption grew, it became clear that reliance on NFS signaled a shift in corporate culture. Organizations began to prioritize networked environments, moving away from isolated computing systems. This transition, while initially beneficial, created vulnerabilities as competitors emerged with alternative solutions that challenged the dominance of this innovation. The once clear path toward continued growth became increasingly obscured amid evolving market dynamics. The infrastructure that had once supported the rise now faced the threat of obsolescence, setting the stage for a gradual decline. The introduction of Java marked a pivotal moment in the company's trajectory. This programming language was designed to be platform independent, appealing to a diverse range of developers. It offered a promise of flexibility that resonated in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. This innovation, initially met with enthusiasm, provided a fresh avenue for growth and engagement with the burgeoning internet economy. It drew attention from major tech companies and developers alike, positioning the Fading firm as a key player in software development. The language's slogan, "Write once, run anywhere," became a cornerstone of Sun's marketing strategy. It encapsulated the aspiration to unify disparate systems, enabling a seamless user experience across various platforms. Despite the early success, the reliance on this language began to expose vulnerabilities. The rapid rise of competing technologies and languages, coupled with shifting industry demands, created a challenging environment. This led to a dilution of focus, as internal resources were increasingly allocated to Java, diverting attention from other critical areas of the business. The once promising initiative started to contribute to an internal disconnect. As developers gravitated toward alternative solutions, the company's struggles became evident. This marked a significant turning point in the narrative of Sun Microsystems, highlighting the intricate dance between innovation and market relevance. Going public in 1986 marked a pivotal moment for this company, reflecting both ambition and optimism in an evolving technological landscape. The initial public offering attracted significant attention, garnering interest from investors eager to capitalize on the burgeoning field of computing. Shares were priced at $14, and the initial rise in stock value indicated confidence in the Unix-based systems that defined its reputation. In those early days, excitement surrounded the potential of these systems, which promised robust performance and reliability. This belief led to rapid growth, with increasing revenues and a burgeoning customer base, including universities and enterprises seeking powerful computing solutions. The allure of Sun Microsystems extended beyond its products. It became a symbol of technological advancement during an era characterized by rapid innovation. Investment and expansion followed as resources funneled into research and development aimed at maintaining competitive edges. The attraction of the stock market provided the company with substantial capital, allowing it to explore new ventures and expand its influence within the industry. Despite initial success, the mounting pressure to sustain growth and meet shareholder expectations gradually began to shift the focus from innovation to profitability. As the years progressed, the challenges of maintaining relevance would emerge, highlighting the fragility of initial triumphs in the face of an ever-evolving marketplace. The rise of client-server computing marked a significant pivot in the technology landscape, introducing a new paradigm that would challenge established norms. This transition not only altered the operational dynamics for many firms, but also intensified competitive pressures. It led to a proliferation of alternatives, inviting a diverse array of players into the market. At the heart of this expansion lay a shift in user expectations. Businesses sought flexibility and scalability, emphasizing the need for systems that could efficiently handle increasing data demands. The traditional Unix-based environments, once celebrated for their stability and robustness, began to show signs of strain under these new requirements. Companies that had once thrived on proprietary technologies found themselves grappling with open standards that democratized access to computing power. In this evolving environment, the firm struggled to adapt its offerings. While they had once been pioneers, the emergence of innovative solutions from competitors diluted their market share. The allure of lower-cost alternatives drew clients away from established vendors, prompting them to reconsider their long-standing partnerships. Amidst this transformation, the fading company faced the challenge of redefining its identity. The urgency to innovate clashed with the constraints imposed by existing business models, creating an internal conflict that would. The acquisition of other companies marked a pivotal strategy intended to enhance capabilities and expand market presence. This approach began with a series of targeted purchases designed to integrate complementary technologies, thereby strengthening the product portfolio. Notable acquisitions included companies specializing in networking and storage solutions, which promised to create a more cohesive offering in the competitive landscape. Integration efforts often revealed challenges, as distinct corporate cultures clashed and the anticipated synergies failed to materialize. Decisions were made to prioritize short-term gains over long-term strategic alignment, leading to a fragmented vision. In some instances, the acquisitions were celebrated for the immediate boost they provided, yet this enthusiasm waned as integration issues persisted. The landscape of the technology sector shifted rapidly, and market demands evolved faster than the newly acquired assets could adapt. As these new components struggled to fit within the broader framework, the expected advantages became elusive. Analysts noted that the acquisitions, while ambitious, often lacked the foresight necessary to anticipate how these disparate technologies would interact within an increasingly complex marketplace. This region of innovation became overshadowed by the growing realization that the core identity of the company was shifting, and a clear direction was becoming difficult to discern. Amidst these transformations, it became evident that the company was grappling not only with external pressures but internal dissonance as well. The decade of the 1990s ushered in an unprecedented tech boom, characterized by rapid innovation and soaring demand for computing power. Sun Microsystems found itself at a pivotal juncture, positioned within a burgeoning market eager for advanced solutions. This environment offered a unique opportunity for growth, as enterprises sought robust computing platforms to support their expanding operations. The company's workstations and servers, powered by the Solaris operating system, garnered considerable attention from businesses eager to embrace new technologies. Operating in this fertile climate, they recorded impressive sales figures, which contributed to an initial impression of stability. The allure of powerful Unix systems appealed to a wide array of sectors, from finance to telecommunications, as organizations recognized the potential for enhanced productivity. Investments in research and development flourished, driving innovation and the introduction of cutting-edge products that aligned with market demands. While the initial success fostered optimism, underlying challenges began to emerge. Competitors also recognized the potential of this thriving sector, leading to an increasingly crowded landscape. As the market became saturated, the once clear advantages of Sun's offerings began to blur. The rapid pace of technological advancement required constant adaptation, and the pressure to innovate weighed heavily on the organization. This combination of external competition and internal pressures set the stage for unforeseen difficulties ahead. The dot-com bubble emerged as a remarkable period of unprecedented growth within the technology sector. During this time, optimism surged, and investment flowed into internet-based companies, creating an atmosphere charged with promise and ambition. Sun Microsystems found itself well-positioned to capitalize on this euphoria. Its products, particularly those that supported the burgeoning internet infrastructure, were in high demand. The allure of innovation attracted talent and resources, allowing the firm to expand rapidly. This growth was not merely financial, it also fostered a culture of experimentation. Employees were encouraged to push boundaries, developing solutions that would meet the insatiable appetite for digital connectivity. New partnerships formed, and the company became synonymous with a certain vision of the future, one defined by open standards and powerful computing. As stock prices soared, the firm's market capitalization reached unprecedented heights. Yet beneath this veneer of success, underlying issues began to emerge. Reliance on specific market trends created vulnerabilities. The focus on growth sometimes overshadowed the need for sustainable practices. This period of expansion, while exhilarating, sowed seeds of potential instability. With the decline of the dot-com bubble, the consequences of these decisions would soon become apparent. The rapid ascent would give way to a sobering reality, revealing the fragility of the successes achieved during those euphoric days. The introduction of Solaris marked a significant milestone in the technological landscape. This comprehensive Unix operating system was designed to harness the power of advanced hardware architectures. It aimed to provide an efficient and robust platform for enterprise solutions. Developers and system administrators welcomed its capabilities, drawn to features such as enhanced security, scalability, and performance. This operating system was built to cater to the demands of a rapidly evolving market, where businesses sought reliability and speed. Over time, Solaris became a preferred choice for many organizations, particularly those requiring mission-critical applications. The implementation of innovative technologies allowed it to stand out amidst competitors, creating a perception of superiority in reliability. As the years progressed, the landscape shifted. The initial enthusiasm for Solaris began to wane, overshadowed by emerging alternatives and a changing technological environment. New players entered the field with fresh perspectives and innovative solutions that captured the attention of potential users. Market dynamics transformed, leading to a gradual erosion of Solaris's once dominant position. The challenges faced during this period were multifaceted. Competition intensified, and the strategic focus shifted, leaving Solaris to contend with an evolving industry landscape. The ambitions that once propelled the operating system forward slowly became obscured, revealing the inherent vulnerabilities that would later contribute to the decline of the company. The development of SPAR-C Station marked a significant chapter in the history of this once innovative firm. Designed to deliver high-performance computing, it captured the attention of a market hungry for speed and efficiency. These workstations emerged as powerful tools, appealing to engineers, researchers, and designers. Their architecture was both advanced and tailored to meet the demands of complex tasks, showcasing the potential of the Unix operating system. Over time, the allure of the SPAR-C Station began to fade as competitors introduced their own alternatives. They offered similar performance at a fraction of the cost, drawing customers away from this fading company. As the marketplace evolved, the once coveted specifications of the SPAR-C Station became less relevant, overshadowed by the rapid advancements in technology. This shift reflected broader trends in computing, where affordability and versatility took precedence over specialized performance. The production of these workstations continued, but the momentum had shifted. Product releases that once sparked excitement now prompted whispers of decline. The very innovations that had established the SPAR-C Station as a leader began to seem outdated. With each passing year, the gap between the company's offerings and the burgeoning competition widened. The once stronghold on high-performance computing gradually eroded, leading to a pivotal reassessment of strategies and the inherent vulnerabilities that had surfaced within the organization. Collaborations with major technology firms became critical in navigating the emerging challenges. Initially, partnerships served as a beacon of innovation, fostering growth and expanding market reach. These associations allowed for the integration of cutting-edge technologies, enhancing product offerings and reinforcing its presence in a competitive landscape. However, as time progressed, the dynamics shifted. The reliance on external collaborators began to expose cracks in its operational framework. As partners pursued their own interests, the alignment of objectives weakened. Joint ventures, once celebrated for their potential, morphed into complex arrangements that diluted focus. This region, once buzzing with cooperative energy, witnessed a gradual decline in productivity. Diminishing returns from these partnerships highlighted the growing disparity between its aspirations and market realities. The fading company found itself at the mercy of external agendas, which often conflicted with its core vision. This increasing detachment from foundational goals marked a turning point, where collaborations no longer served as lifelines, but rather became sources of strain. The failure to cultivate mutually beneficial relationships resulted in missed opportunities and stunted growth. Disengagement from these alliances left it vulnerable. The once vibrant network of partnerships now echoed with a sense of loss, illustrating the fragility of interdependence in an ever-evolving technological ecosystem. Branding strategies that once positioned it as a leader began to falter in the face of increasing competition. The emphasis on innovation, once a cornerstone, gradually became overshadowed by the rapid advancements of rivals. As new players entered the market with fresh approaches to computing, it became increasingly difficult to maintain the same level of prestige. Marketing campaigns, once celebrated for their creativity, shifted from promoting groundbreaking technologies to addressing mounting concerns over market share and relevance. Positioning efforts that had focused on the enterprise sector faced challenges from agile competitors who offered more adaptable solutions. The messaging evolved, attempting to highlight the reliability and performance of its systems, yet the resonance diminished. The allure of cutting-edge technology that had drawn clients began to fade, replaced by an impression of obsolescence. In a bid to reclaim its stature, promotional materials touted legacy strengths, but the impact was muted. The disconnect between the brand's established reputation and the evolving market landscape became increasingly apparent. As sales figures declined, it became clear that the once celebrated identity struggled to connect with both existing and potential customers. The urgency to adapt was palpable, yet the transition proved elusive, leaving behind a lingering sense of uncertainty in the brand's future. Innovation and risk-taking became the cornerstones of this fading company's identity. Established in the early 1980s, it thrived on a culture that celebrated creativity and technological advancement. Employees embraced a sense of camaraderie, working collaboratively in an environment that encouraged experimentation. This ethos fostered groundbreaking developments, including their pioneering work with the network file system and the introduction of the Solaris operating system. The spirit of innovation often led to bold decisions, such as entering markets that were considered high risk. Each new venture was a testament to their desire to push boundaries, yet the very same risks that fueled early successes became increasingly difficult to manage. The competitive landscape shifted dramatically, and the once revered culture of risk-taking began to show its vulnerabilities. As the industry evolved, the company struggled to maintain its distinctive edge. This environment was not solely about technological prowess. It was also interwoven with the company's social fabric, attracting talent that thrived on the excitement of the unknown. Over time, the initial thrill of innovation gave way to a growing anxiety about sustainability. The once invincible perception of the brand began to fray at the edges, revealing cracks in the foundation of its identity. The relentless pursuit of cutting-edge solutions eventually became a double-edged sword, leading to a complex narrative of ambition and decline. The Sun Developer Network emerged as a strategic initiative aimed at fostering a vibrant community of developers and enhancing the ecosystem surrounding their products. This undertaking sought to connect programmers with resources, support, and tools necessary for innovative software development. By establishing forums, documentation, and training programs, it became a hub for collaboration, nurturing a space where creativity could flourish. In this environment, the exchange of ideas thrived, and developers were encouraged to build applications tailored to the Unix operating system. The commitment to open standards and interoperability attracted a diverse group of contributors, further enriching the community. Enthusiasts and professionals alike found value in the resources provided, which in turn bolstered the reputation of the firm as a leader in the technology sector. The success of this initiative was palpable, as numerous third-party applications began to gain traction within the marketplace. They provided users with enhanced functionality and demonstrated the potential of the Unix platform. This momentum, however, would later be challenged by a shifting technology landscape where new paradigms and competitors began to emerge. The allure of the developer network, once a beacon of innovation, would soon be overshadowed by the realities of a rapidly evolving industry. The community that had flourished now faced the impending turbulence of change. The emergence of open-source competitors marked a significant shift within this region of technology. Linux, gaining traction in the late 1990s, presented an alternative that resonated with developers and enterprises alike. A community-driven model, it beckoned to those disillusioned with proprietary systems. This new operating system offered flexibility, customization, and an economic advantage that proprietary options could not easily match. It became evident that this wave of change would not only challenge established players like Sun Microsystems, but also reshape the landscape of computing. Organizations began to recognize the potential for reduced costs and increased control over their technological environments. The allure of collaborative development invigorated the industry, creating a culture of shared innovation that contrasted starkly with the rigid structures of traditional firms. The quiet revolution of open-source software gradually eroded market share, as many companies opted to transition their operations toward these new platforms. This shift rendered once popular systems less relevant, as the momentum of community support propelled Linux into mainstream adoption. The ramifications for Sun were profound. With its Unix systems now overshadowed, it became increasingly difficult for the fading company to maintain its competitive edge. Financial performance waned, and the once revered giant grappled with an uncertain future as the foundation of its legacy began to crumble beneath the weight of evolving technological demands. Amidst the shifting landscape, the decision to acquire Star Division in 1998 represented a pivotal moment in this region's corporate strategy. This software firm, known for its innovative productivity tools, was seen as a means to diversify offerings and capture new market segments. Emphasizing a shift towards software solutions, it was believed that this acquisition could reinvigorate the fading company and provide a counterbalance to its declining hardware business. Integration efforts began immediately, aiming to merge the capabilities of Star Division with existing technologies. It was hoped that these productivity applications would attract a broader user base and enhance overall competitiveness. The allure of entering the productivity software market brought some initial optimism, yet the complexities of integration soon emerged. Cultural clashes between established practices and newer methodologies created friction that hindered synergy. Despite the strategic intentions, the anticipated growth failed to materialize as expected. The rise of alternative software suites, often more agile and user-friendly, overshadowed the offerings. As time progressed, the initial excitement surrounding the acquisition dulled, revealing deeper challenges. Internal resources strained under competing priorities, and the inability to fully capitalize on this new venture became evident. The once promising path to resurgence transformed into another layer of complications within an already precarious corporate landscape. Ambitious growth aspirations led to significant internal strains, revealing cracks in the foundational structure of the enterprise. The rapid expansion introduced complexities that often outpaced management's ability to adapt effectively. Departments began to operate in silos, fostering a lack of communication that hindered collaboration. With an increasing workforce, the once cohesive culture fractured, leading to misunderstandings and inefficiencies. Leadership faced mounting pressure to align diverse teams towards common goals, but the swift pace of growth made coherent strategies elusive. Recruitment efforts prioritized speed over fit, resulting in a blend of talent that struggled to harmonize within the organization. When talent mismatches occurred, it exacerbated existing tensions, leading to declining morale across various levels. Operational processes became burdened under the weight of inefficiencies. The increasing complexity of product lines compounded difficulties in project management, often resulting in missed deadlines and budget overruns. As these challenges mounted, the once celebrated innovation cycles slowed, leaving the firm vulnerable to competitive pressures from more agile counterparts. The struggle to maintain quality amidst relentless growth caused reputational damage. Stakeholders began to question the reliability of offerings, which further strained resources. This decline in consumer trust reflected the internal chaos. The decline in hardware sales marked a pivotal moment in the trajectory of this once prominent firm. As the landscape of technology evolved, a shift in market demand became apparent. Competitors began to capitalize on the rising interest in personal computing, leaving behind the enterprise-focused offerings that had defined it for years. The emergence of more accessible, cost-effective alternatives transformed consumer preferences, leading to diminished interest in the high-end systems that it had long championed. Innovation stagnated as the company struggled to adapt to these changing dynamics. Their reliance on established products, without significant investment in new technologies, exacerbated the situation. This region of the tech industry witnessed a surge in agile competitors who embraced the wave of cloud computing and mobile solutions. These advancements rendered traditional hardware increasingly obsolete, and as sales dwindled, the implications for the firm became increasingly severe. Internal strategies failed to address the urgency of these shifts. The once thriving research and development teams became mired in bureaucracy, unable to pivot quickly enough to capture emerging trends. The hardware that had once represented cutting-edge technology became a reminder of past glory, gathering dust in warehouses as demand evaporated. This stark reality underscored a broader trend in the industry, revealing a profound disconnect between what the market desired and what the fading company could provide. The repercussions of the dot-com crash of 2000 reverberated throughout the technology sector, leaving a notable imprint on this once prominent firm. Revenue streams, heavily reliant on internet-related businesses, began to dry up almost immediately. Clients that had once rushed to adopt Unix systems in hopes of capitalizing on burgeoning digital opportunities found themselves reconsidering expenditures. This resulted in a rapid decline in demand for servers and software that had previously been deemed essential. Layoffs became commonplace as the company struggled to align its workforce with the diminished market conditions. Employees, once filled with a sense of purpose and innovation, witnessed the gradual erosion of morale. The once bustling offices, filled with energetic collaboration, now echoed with uncertainty as projects were shelved and resources tightened. The stock price experienced a steep fall, a stark illustration of crumbling investor confidence. Shareholders, who had once seen the company as a beacon of stability, began to question its viability. This shift resulted in a significant loss of capital, further limiting the firm's ability to invest in research and development. The promise of cutting-edge technology faded, replaced by an acute awareness of vulnerability in a rapidly changing landscape. These elements combined to signal an unsettling transformation, marking a critical juncture in the company's trajectory. A profound shift in operational strategy ensued, driven by the pressing need for financial stability. Cost-cutting measures emerged as the primary response, implemented with the intent to streamline processes and reduce overhead. Layoffs became a frequent occurrence, affecting thousands of employees across various departments. These decisions reverberated throughout the company, altering the fabric of its workforce. With each reduction in personnel, the atmosphere shifted, fostering uncertainty and anxiety among remaining staff. Restructuring initiatives followed closely behind, aimed at realigning resources with the evolving market landscape. Divisions that once thrived found themselves dismantled or combined, often leading to a loss of identity and purpose. This approach, intended to foster agility, resulted in a fragmented corporate culture. Innovation, which had once been a hallmark of the organization, began to wane as talent departed, taking with them invaluable knowledge and experience. The once vibrant offices became quieter, filled with remnants of what had been. Collaboration diminished, replaced by an atmosphere of caution and survival. Projects that had been in the pipeline were shelved or abandoned entirely, depriving the company of future growth opportunities. The cumulative impact of these strategies created a lingering sense of decline, underscoring the fragility of an organization once considered a titan in the technology sector. The emphasis on services marked a pivotal shift in strategy, reflecting the changing landscape of technology and market demand. Initial attempts to pivot from hardware to software solutions were met with varying degrees of success. It became apparent that this transition was not merely a rebranding exercise, but a fundamental alteration in operational focus. The once dominant hardware products began to recede, overshadowed by a growing portfolio of software offerings intended to address the evolving needs of enterprise clients. This region, once vibrant with innovation, now faced challenges in cultivating a software culture. Internal resistance emerged as traditional engineers struggled to adapt to the new paradigms of service-oriented architectures. They endeavored to create products that were not just functional, but also integrated seamlessly into client workflows. Nevertheless, these efforts frequently fell short of market expectations, leading to a series of underwhelming launches and disappointing customer reviews. The gradual decline of hardware sales compounded the effects of this transition. Various initiatives aimed at marketing software solutions often failed to resonate with potential users. As competition intensified and customer loyalty waned, it became increasingly difficult to reclaim the prestigious status once held. The transformation, although necessary, revealed the complexities of navigating an industry in flux, leaving the fading company at a crossroads. Globalization introduced a new layer of competition, prompting urgent shifts in operational strategies. Outsourcing emerged as a prevalent method to streamline costs and increase efficiency. This decision, while initially promising, led to a gradual erosion of domestic capabilities. Talent that once thrived within the organization began to dissipate as roles migrated to regions where labor was less expensive. The allure of reduced overhead became a double-edged sword, as it compromised the integrity of innovation and quality that had been hallmarks of the firm. Cost management strategies increasingly prioritized short-term gains over long-term sustainability. As resources were allocated to maintain competitive pricing, the commitment to research and development waned. This shift created a stark contrast to the original ethos of the organization, which had been deeply rooted in pioneering advancements. The focus on immediate financial outcomes overshadowed the need for a robust vision, leading to a disjointed operational structure. In this evolving landscape, the interplay of outsourcing and cost management began to manifest in the quality of products and services. Feedback from clients shifted, reflecting increasing dissatisfaction with the offerings. The market, once vibrant with demand for Unix-based solutions, grew quieter as competitors emerged, adept at navigating both technological and economic challenges. The gradual decline was marked not by a singular event, but by a series of calculated missteps. The early 2000s witnessed significant strategic missteps that would. The decision to focus on proprietary systems rather than embracing open-source initiatives further alienated potential customers. Competitors, adopting a more flexible approach, gained traction in sectors that Sun once dominated. The release of the Sun Fire line, intended to showcase the company's commitment to innovation, instead revealed weaknesses in execution and marketing strategies. The lack of clear communication regarding product benefits left clients confused and unwilling to invest. Amidst these failures, internal morale began to decline. Talented engineers and visionaries sought opportunities elsewhere, leading to a brain drain that crippled the company's ability to innovate. As resources dwindled, efforts to recover became increasingly futile, revealing the extent of its operational challenges. This period marked a critical turning point, as the firm's inability to adapt became evident, foreshadowing the years of struggle that lay ahead. The competitive landscape shifted dramatically during the late 1990s and early 2000s. Dell, HP, and IBM emerged as formidable players, each carving out a significant market share through innovation and aggressive pricing strategies. These companies harnessed the power of personal computing, offering products that appealed directly to consumers and businesses alike. Dell's direct-to-consumer model revolutionized the way technology was sold, allowing it to bypass traditional retail channels. This approach fostered a deep connection with customers, ensuring rapid delivery and tailored solutions. HP, with its extensive portfolio, capitalized on the growing demand for versatile computing solutions across various sectors. The introduction of affordable printers and personal computers further solidified its presence in the market. IBM, meanwhile, redefined its identity, transitioning from legacy mainframes to a focus on servers and services. Its deep investment in research and development paved the way for cutting-edge technologies that addressed the evolving needs of enterprise customers. These firms thrived by embracing change and anticipating market trends, positioning themselves as leaders in a fast-paced environment. In stark contrast, the fading company struggled to define its niche within this burgeoning ecosystem. As competitors continually innovated and expanded their offerings, it became increasingly apparent that the once dominant Unix firm was losing ground, unable to reclaim its former stature. Challenges emerged as legacy systems became increasingly difficult to maintain. This aging infrastructure hindered the ability to adapt to new technologies, resulting in slow responses to market demands. The reliance on established Unix platforms created a paradox, where innovation was essential for survival, yet stifled by the very systems that had once propelled growth. It became evident that the cost of upgrading or replacing these systems was significant, often outweighing immediate benefits. An internal culture resistant to change further compounded these difficulties. Employees were accustomed to the familiarity of existing processes, creating a reluctance to embrace new methodologies. This environment stifled creativity and slowed decision-making. The inability to pivot quickly in a rapidly evolving technological landscape meant that emerging competitors were able to capitalize on opportunities that the fading company could not. Additionally, the shift toward cloud computing presented a formidable obstacle. While other firms swiftly transitioned to this new paradigm, the legacy infrastructure remained entrenched. This reluctance to innovate alienated potential clients who sought more flexible and modern solutions. As the gap widened, the once revered firm found itself marginalized, overshadowed by agile players who understood the necessity of adaptation. The inability to evolve became a defining characteristic of its decline, marking a stark contrast to its earlier prominence in the industry. The arrival of open standards introduced a new paradigm within the technology landscape, one that Sun Microsystems struggled to navigate. As competitors embraced these frameworks, they fostered collaboration and flexibility, allowing for unprecedented innovation and adaptability. This shift rendered the traditional proprietary models increasingly obsolete, leaving Sun adrift in a sea of change. The once cherished Unix operating system, which had been a cornerstone of its success, now faced challenges from emerging platforms designed around open standards. In this evolving environment, it became evident that reliance on legacy systems hindered progress. The ability to integrate with various hardware and software solutions became paramount. Companies that adopted open standards experienced a surge in market share as they were able to meet the growing demands of diverse clientele. Sun's reluctance to transition its core offerings towards an open model only exacerbated its isolation within the industry. Simultaneously, industry partners began to reassess their alliances. The vibrant collaboration found in open-source communities starkly contrasted with Sun's increasingly insular practices. Relationships that had once been robust began to fray as partners pursued alternatives that promised greater flexibility and responsiveness. The diminishing relevance of its products slowly transformed the once vibrant company into a mere shadow of its former self, struggling to adapt to a world that had moved on without it. The emergence of cloud computing presented both a challenge and an opportunity for the fading company. Initially, it sought to reposition itself within this new technological landscape, leveraging its established reputation in networking and enterprise solutions. Executives proposed various strategies to integrate cloud services, emphasizing the need for innovation and agility. This region became a hub for discussions on how to transform traditional products into cloud-ready offerings. Despite these intentions, it became evident that internal struggles hindered effective execution. The organizational culture, once celebrated for its pioneering spirit, now appeared stagnant, weighed down by bureaucracy and risk aversion. Efforts to develop cloud services lagged behind competitors who swiftly adopted more agile methodologies, capturing market share and customer loyalty. The initial responses included partnerships with emerging cloud platforms and attempts to modernize existing infrastructure. Yet, the lack of a cohesive vision and the fragmented approach to development resulted in disjointed offerings. promising initiatives were often overshadowed by the company's inability to fully commit to a singular path forward. As time progressed, these responses began to reflect deeper issues within its strategy, revealing a disconnect between aspirations and operational realities. The firm, once a titan in technology, struggled to reclaim relevance as it faced an industry that had decisively moved beyond its foundational principles. A strategic acquisition marked a pivotal moment in an attempt to reinvent their database strategy. MySQL, a prominent open-source database management system, was seen as a vehicle for revitalization. This decision reflected a desire to adapt to the changing demands of the market, where flexibility and cost-effectiveness began to trump traditional licensing models. The integration of MySQL into existing systems was intended to create a more versatile platform, appealing to a broader customer base. Despite initial enthusiasm, challenges soon emerged. The technology landscape was increasingly competitive, with numerous players offering alternative solutions. Internal alignment proved difficult, as the newly acquired entity struggled to merge with the existing corporate culture. The integration process led to fragmentation in development efforts, which diluted focus and resources. Market reception was mixed. Existing clients, accustomed to the legacy systems, expressed reservations about transitioning to a more modern framework. Meanwhile, potential customers, enticed by the agility of competitors, found themselves less inclined to engage with the fading firm. As time progressed, it became evident that this acquisition had not reversed the prevailing narrative of decline. Instead, it illustrated the complexities inherent in attempting to innovate amidst an ever-evolving technological landscape, highlighting the futility of efforts to recapture a lost era of dominance. The SBARC line, once a beacon of performance and reliability, gradually succumbed to the pressures of shifting market demands. Over time, it became evident that the architecture, initially lauded for its ability to execute complex tasks efficiently, could not compete with the burgeoning popularity of alternatives. This region of the computing industry saw the rise of more cost-effective and versatile solutions, leading to a steady decline in interest. As buyers gravitated toward platforms that offered greater flexibility and scalability, the allure of SBARC diminished. Sales numbers dwindled, and the once thriving ecosystem began to show signs of wear. The cost of maintaining such specialized hardware became increasingly difficult to justify, reflecting a broader trend of diminishing returns. These products, once heralded as cutting-edge, faced an uphill battle in a landscape that favored adaptability over singular excellence. Development resources dwindled further, leading to an erosion of product viability. As innovation slowed, confidence waned within the market. Compounding this issue, competitors swiftly adapted to the changing demands, capitalizing on the vacuum left by a fading giant. The SBARC line, a symbol of past triumphs, became overshadowed by the relentless march of progress, marking a poignant chapter in the decline of this once dominant firm. The echoes of its previous success faded into memory, leaving behind a stark reminder of the volatility inherent in the tech industry. A significant downturn in financial stability marked the mid-2000s for this fading company. Revenue began to decline sharply, illustrating a stark contrast to its once thriving position within the market. The competitive landscape shifted as rivals embraced emerging technologies, leaving it to grapple with an outdated business model. This period witnessed a series of financial reports that revealed mounting losses, prompting concern among stakeholders. Investors, initially confident in its potential, began to reassess their commitments, leading to a gradual withdrawal of crucial support. The once bustling offices, filled with innovative energy, turned into a shadow of their former selves, filled with uncertainty and dwindling morale. Layoffs became common as the organization attempted to realign its resources, yet these efforts often felt reactive rather than strategic. The company's core products, which had once been celebrated for their robustness, struggled to compete in a market increasingly dominated by low-cost alternatives. Each quarterly report unveiled deeper losses, with analysts speculating about the potential for further decline. The diminishing revenues painted a grim picture, forcing leadership to consider drastic measures. This environment of financial instability reflected broader shifts within the tech industry, where adaptability became essential for survival. The once revered name slowly became synonymous with missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. Leadership changes marked a significant turning point in the company's trajectory. New executives, arriving with fresh perspectives, sought to reshape corporate strategy and vision. Their intentions, though well-meaning, often led to confusion and disarray. Decisions made from the upper echelons reverberated throughout the organization, creating a ripple effect that altered the internal landscape. Strategic pivots aimed at capitalizing on emerging markets frequently collided with the company's established identity. These shifts resulted in disjointed messaging, leaving employees uncertain of their direction. The emphasis on innovation waned, overshadowed by a growing focus on short-term gains. This recalibration diminished the company's once thriving culture of creativity. External pressures compounded the challenges. Competitors seized the opportunity to advance, while the fading firm struggled to maintain its footing amidst the technological evolution. Initiatives that had once sparked enthusiasm dwindled into mere gestures, further eroding morale. The gradual erosion of confidence among stakeholders became palpable, leading to hesitance in investing resources into nascent projects. In this changing environment, the disconnect between leadership aspirations and operational realities widened. The ambitious vision, once a hallmark of the organization, now appeared increasingly distant. An unsettling quiet settled over the halls, where the echoes of past achievements lingered, juxtaposed against the stark realization of what had been lost. This realization deepened as the global financial crisis of 2008 unfolded, casting a long shadow over the fading company. Market conditions deteriorated rapidly, creating an environment rife with uncertainty. Demand for technology and enterprise solutions, once robust, began to wane as businesses tightened their budgets and prioritized stability over innovation. Amidst this turmoil, Sun's operations faced increasing pressure. Sales dropped significantly, and revenue streams that had once flowed steadily began to dry up. The once coveted servers and workstations, symbols of cutting-edge technology, struggled to attract interest in a market increasingly leaning towards cost-effective alternatives. Amidst these shifts, the workforce felt the impact acutely. Layoffs became a frequent occurrence, as the need to cut costs overshadowed the drive to maintain a talented team. The atmosphere shifted from one of collaboration and forward-thinking to a more somber tone, where uncertainty lingered in every corner. Investor confidence eroded alongside market conditions, leading to plummeting stock prices. Board meetings, once filled with optimism, transformed into discussions focused on survival rather than growth. The fading company, once a titan of innovation, found itself navigating the treacherous waters of a financial downturn, struggling to maintain relevance in a world that was rapidly evolving beyond its reach. This shift marked a pivotal moment in the organization's history. Embracing the Open Solaris initiative, it aimed to harness the collective power of the developer community while attempting to reinvigorate its waning influence in the technology sector. The decision to release its Solaris operating system as open source represented a significant departure from its traditional business model, which had thrived on proprietary software. The initiative attracted a diverse group of contributors, each drawn by the promise of collaboration and customization. In these early days, it seemed there was potential for resurgence, as developers began to innovate within the framework provided by this once guarded software. This newfound openness fostered a sense of community and enthusiasm that had long been absent. Despite these efforts, the challenges were formidable. Competitors, fueled by their own open-source strategies, swiftly capitalized on the momentum, further diminishing the organization's market share. The allure of free software grew stronger, pulling businesses and developers away from the legacy systems that had once defined the company's identity. As time passed, the commitment to Open Solaris could not fully counterbalance the pressing issues of financial sustainability and shifting consumer preferences. The landscape continued to evolve, leaving the fading company to ponder the effectiveness of its bold maneuver in an increasingly competitive arena. Community engagement marked a crucial aspect of the company's strategy, seeking to foster a developer ecosystem that could invigorate its offerings. Technical forums and conferences were organized, creating spaces for dialogue between engineers and enthusiasts. These gatherings allowed for the exchange of ideas, encouraging innovation and collaboration among users. The emphasis on creating a supportive environment aimed to attract third-party developers who could enhance the product lineup with applications and tools. A vibrant community could have served as a lifeline, potentially revitalizing interest in the fading technology. Each interaction was designed to reinforce loyalty and inspire contributions, with an underlying belief that a robust ecosystem might counteract market pressures. Contributions from the community resulted in various projects, some of which gained traction, providing valuable resources. However, the gradual decline in developer enthusiasm became evident as competing platforms emerged, capturing the attention of those once invested in this region. Despite the initial optimism, the challenges of maintaining sustained engagement grew. As the external environment shifted, the once thriving network began to wither. The diminishing returns on investment in these community initiatives reflected the broader struggles the firm faced. What once promised to be a dynamic foundation transformed into a quiet echo of lost potential, complicating the already tenuous position in an unforgiving market landscape. Diminished prospects culminated in a struggle between innovation and bureaucracy, as the once lively atmosphere saw the encroachment of rigid structures. This region, once a cradle of creativity, became stifled by layers of management and protocol. Employees who thrived on the thrill of groundbreaking ideas found themselves navigating an intricate web of approvals and red tape. Collaboration suffered as silos emerged, isolating teams that were previously interconnected, leading to fragmented efforts and diminished morale. The spirit of innovation, which had once fueled the company's ascent, was gradually overshadowed by an entrenched mindset resistant to change. As new technologies emerged beyond its walls, the organization grappled with internal resistance to adapting. The competitive landscape shifted rapidly, leaving it struggling to keep pace. They faced the harsh realization that agility was paramount in a world defined by constant disruption. Meetings became more frequent yet less productive, as discussions turned into endless debates over risk aversion rather than bold advancements. The once revered culture of experimentation faded, replaced by a culture of compliance. This decline in creativity not only stifled enthusiasm, but also hindered the ability to respond to market needs, leading to missed opportunities that could have revitalized its standing. What remained was a somber reminder of how bureaucracy can suffocate the very essence of innovation. The declining Unix market slowly began to reveal cracks in its foundation. As technology evolved, a subtle yet impactful shift emerged. The rise of Linux and Windows signaled a transformation in consumer preferences and corporate strategies. When these alternatives provided robust functionality at a lower cost, many organizations gravitated toward them, seeking efficiency and flexibility. In this region, the allure of Unix, once regarded as the pinnacle of stability and performance, faded. It became increasingly difficult to justify the steep licensing fees and rigid structures associated with it. Competitors embraced open-source models, inviting collaboration and innovation, drawing developers and companies into a new ecosystem that thrived on adaptability. This transition was marked by a gradual erosion of market share, leaving many to ponder the fate of Unix. The once dominant player found itself struggling to maintain relevance as users migrated to more accessible platforms. The contrast became stark. While Linux and Windows flourished, Unix's rigid architecture began to feel antiquated. Amidst this landscape, the fading company faced growing existential questions. The competitive pressures demanded a reevaluation of priorities. Legacy systems, once the backbone of enterprises, now stood as relics of a bygone era, overshadowed by emerging technologies that promised a more dynamic future, reshaping the industry in unforeseen ways. Strategic decisions made during Jonathan Schwartz's tenure reflected an attempt to navigate the complexities of an evolving market. Leadership challenges emerged as the company grappled with its identity in a landscape dominated by rapidly advancing technologies. Emphasis shifted towards software and services, aligning with industry trends, yet the core hardware segment struggled to maintain relevance. This region, once teeming with innovation, now faced a dilemma. The focus on open-source initiatives aimed to capture new markets, yet it diluted the brand's traditional identity. Tensions grew as stakeholders questioned the efficacy of this direction, concerned that the pursuit of a broader audience might compromise the quality and performance associated with the firm's legacy. The integration of cloud computing into business strategies appeared promising, yet execution faltered. Leadership struggled to effectively communicate these changes to both employees and investors. Uncertainty settled over the organization as competitive pressures mounted. The once clear vision became clouded, leading to internal discord. Outside, competitors accelerated their advancements, further eroding the company's market share. The transition from a hardware-centric approach to a service-oriented model revealed significant gaps in execution. As decisions were made, the ramifications rippled through the organization, impacting morale and vision. This transformation, intended to rejuvenate, instead rendered the firm vulnerable to the relentless pace of technological evolution. The acquisition by Oracle in 2010 marked a pivotal moment in the firm's trajectory, a decision born out of necessity amid declining market relevance. This move reflected a strategic pivot, aiming to leverage Oracle's expansive database solutions alongside Sun's hardware and software offerings. The promise of integration suggested a future where both entities could flourish, yet the reality unfolded with more complexity. Financial pressures loomed large, driving the fading company toward a path that appeared more like capitulation than a calculated growth strategy. Oracle's motives were clear. By acquiring the firm, it sought to strengthen its position in the enterprise market, capitalizing on the existing customer base. The implications, however, rippled through the industry, signaling a decisive shift in how technology firms approached innovation and competition. Amidst the corporate restructuring, an undercurrent of uncertainty persisted. Employees faced an unsettling environment as cultures clashed and visions diverged. The legacy of innovation began to erode, overshadowed by Oracle's distinct operational methodologies. The once vibrant ecosystem that characterized this region of the tech landscape now bore the marks of integration challenges, leading to a gradual disintegration of previously held identities. The aftermath of the acquisition illustrated a stark reality. The merging of two powerful entities did not guarantee survival. Rather, it exposed vulnerabilities that had long lain dormant. The fate of Sun's products post-acquisition reflected the complexities inherent in corporate mergers. This once thriving line of work encountered significant challenges as integration proceeded. Products that had once defined Sun's identity struggled for relevance within the larger corporate structure. Discontinuation became a common theme as engineering teams faced pressures to streamline offerings, often leaving legacy technologies behind. Legacy systems, once emblematic of innovation, found themselves overshadowed by more contemporary solutions. The Solaris operating system, a hallmark of Sun's engineering prowess, slipped into obscurity, relegated to niche markets that lacked the resources for more modern alternatives. The transition to a unified product line proved cumbersome, marked by an unsettling disconnection between customer expectations and the evolving corporate strategy. Hardware offerings, too, faced an uncertain future. The Sun Fire line, previously revered for its performance, began to dwindle in availability as resources were redirected towards integrating disparate technologies. This shift alienated loyal customers who found themselves seeking alternatives in an increasingly competitive landscape. The once reliable support networks faltered under the weight of new protocols, resulting in dissatisfaction among users accustomed to high-touch service. In this environment of uncertainty, the remnants of Sun Microsystems lay scattered, a testament to the delicate balance between ambition and reality in corporate evolution. The legacy of Sun Microsystems is interwoven with significant contributions to technology and computing. This firm pioneered innovations that laid the groundwork for modern computing paradigms. The introduction of the network file system, for instance, revolutionized the way data was accessed and shared across networks. This protocol enabled seamless communication between different systems, fostering collaboration in ways previously unimagined. In addition, the development of the Solaris operating system provided a robust platform that many enterprises relied upon for mission-critical applications. Its architecture prioritized scalability and security, offering solutions that address the demands of an evolving digital landscape. The commitment to open standards, exemplified by the creation of the Java programming language, further solidified its influence. Java became a cornerstone of software development, promoting portability across diverse systems and contributing to the rise of Internet applications. The firm's hardware innovations, particularly in workstations and servers, drove performance benchmarks that competitors aspired to meet. The legacy of these machines remains in the architectures that succeeded them, as the industry gradually adapted to the increasing complexities of processing demands. The ethos of innovation, collaboration, and open systems that Sun Microsystems championed continues to resonate, shaping the strategies of contemporary technology firms. The fragments of its past serve as a reminder of the continuous evolution within this region of the tech landscape. The Java platform emerged as a pivotal offering from the fading company, reshaping software development. Designed for cross-platform compatibility, it allowed developers to write code once and run it anywhere, a revolutionary concept at the time. This accessibility opened doors for a broader range of applications, extending far beyond its original intent. Even as the firm experienced decline, the influence of Java persisted, becoming a cornerstone in programming languages. Entities around the globe adopted the platform, fostering a community that contributed to its growth and resilience. Educational institutions integrated Java into their curricula, ensuring a new generation of programmers became proficient in its use. It enabled the proliferation of web applications and mobile devices, transforming user experiences across various domains. The simplicity and adaptability of this technology resonated, allowing it to survive amid fierce competition. While the firm struggled with market share and strategic missteps, the underlying principles of Java continued to thrive. It became synonymous with innovation and reliability. Even as the company faded from prominence, its legacy endured, influencing modern software frameworks and development methodologies. The quiet persistence of this platform stands as a testament to the lasting impact of the fading company, a paradox of resilience in the face of corporate decline. The echoes of its contributions remain embedded in the fabric of today's technology landscape. The evolution of Unix reflected the lasting influence of this firm. Originating in the late 1960s, this operating system served as a foundation for many subsequent technologies. The contributions from Sun Microsystems were pivotal during the 1980s and 90s as they refined and popularized Unix for commercial use. Their innovative hardware and software solutions helped spawn a thriving ecosystem, fostering collaboration among developers and businesses alike. During this period, the operating system became synonymous with stability and scalability, appealing to enterprises demanding robust solutions for their evolving needs. The company's work exemplified how an open architecture could lead to unprecedented flexibility, encouraging widespread adoption across various sectors. As time progressed, it became evident that the rigid structures of traditional Unix were facing challenges from emerging technologies. The shift towards more user-friendly interfaces and the rise of alternative systems, such as Linux and cloud-based solutions, gradually eroded the stronghold once held by Unix. This transition marked a significant turning point. While the core principles of Unix still resonate in modern implementations, the landscape has transformed dramatically. The legacy of Sun Microsystems persists, though now intertwined with new paradigms. The echoes of their innovations are discernible within contemporary operating systems, bearing witness to a lineage that continues to adapt in an ever-changing technological environment. Intellectual property played a pivotal role in shaping the landscape for this firm, influencing both its ascent and subsequent decline. Strategic patenting created a formidable barrier against competitors, safeguarding a myriad of technologies and establishing a semblance of market dominance. As the company expanded its portfolio, the accumulation of intellectual property became both a tool for innovation and a source of contention. Controversies emerged as legal battles intensified over various patents. Competitors sought to challenge the validity of claims, arguing that the firm had stifled innovation through aggressive litigation. This environment fostered a climate of uncertainty, wherein ongoing disputes diverted resources and attention from core operations. The once celebrated patent strategies, initially designed to bolster growth, began to erode public perception and morale. The nature of these legal skirmishes shifted over time as the industry evolved. Collaborations with other entities sometimes became necessary to navigate the complexities of shared technology. In pursuit of maintaining relevance, the firm found itself entangled in cross-licensing agreements, diluting its once unassailable position. The essence of innovation, once synonymous with this organization, became overshadowed by the burdens of litigation and the necessity of compromise, leading to a gradual erosion of confidence in its future viability. The path that had once promised continued dominance became increasingly fraught with challenges and obstacles. Lessons can be gleaned from the decline of this once prominent firm. A critical aspect lies in the necessity for adaptability in an evolving market. As computing technology advanced, the inability to pivot towards emerging trends left it vulnerable. A rigid adherence to established principles became detrimental. This stagnation serves as a cautionary tale, emphasizing the importance of innovation and responsiveness. The significance of understanding customer needs emerges as another key lesson. A disconnect from the user base led to offerings that no longer resonated with the market. Observing shifts in consumer behavior is essential for maintaining relevance. Companies must remain attuned to the desires and requirements of their clientele, ensuring products and services align with contemporary expectations. Financial prudence also proves vital. The resources allocated towards specific ventures became misaligned with the broader market landscape. Lessons in fiscal responsibility highlight the need for prudent investments and strategic planning. Finally, the importance of effective leadership cannot be overstated. Decisions made at the top directly influence the trajectory of this enterprise. A commitment to clear vision and decisive action is paramount. These insights, drawn from the rise and fall of the fading company, offer valuable guidance for current and future enterprises. Embracing change, understanding customers, managing resources wisely, and fostering strong leadership remain foundational to success. The emergence of open-source philosophy introduced a paradigm shift, profoundly affecting commercial software models. This movement encouraged collaboration and transparency, allowing developers to share their code openly. The implications for established companies were significant, as traditional proprietary models faced increasing scrutiny and competition. In this evolving landscape, many firms found themselves at a crossroads, grappling with the dilemma of maintaining control over their intellectual property while adapting to the growing demand for accessible software. the allure of open-source solutions became undeniable, attracting users seeking flexibility and cost-effectiveness. This shift created a sense of urgency within the industry, as companies attempted to innovate in response to changing consumer expectations. Amidst this transformation, some organizations chose to embrace the open-source movement, integrating elements into their business strategies. This adaptation allowed them to remain relevant, fostering communities around their products and facilitating collaboration. Others, however, clung to outdated models, unable to pivot in a rapidly changing environment. As the market became increasingly saturated with open-source alternatives, the consequences of these decisions intensified. The decline of many prominent firms served as a stark reminder of the necessity for agility and responsiveness. The lessons learned from this era underscore the importance of aligning business practices with evolving technological landscapes, ensuring long-term viability in an unpredictable market. Research and development stood as a pillar for technological advancement, yet the balance between innovation and market needs proved difficult to achieve. This firm, once a leader in the Unix computing space, invested heavily in pioneering technologies, aiming to shape the future rather than merely respond to it. The pursuit of groundbreaking inventions, while noble, often diverged from the immediate demands of their customer base. Products emerged with exceptional capabilities, yet many were ahead of their time, lacking market readiness. Feedback from clients frequently indicated a desire for practical solutions rather than experimental technologies. The disconnect between innovative aspirations and consumer expectations created a chasm that became increasingly difficult to bridge. The region witnessed a gradual shift in focus as competitors began to prioritize user-friendly solutions tailored to specific market needs. It became evident that while innovation was essential, a keen awareness of customer requirements was equally crucial. A commitment to understanding evolving consumer landscapes could have provided strategic insights, guiding the development process more effectively. As this firm navigated its path through the tech industry, the realization that innovation without market alignment risks obsolescence began to echo throughout the organization. This critical awareness might have altered the trajectory of a once prominent player in the computing world. The transition to cloud services presented an opportunity ripe for the taking, yet it went largely unrecognized by the fading company. As rivals embraced the paradigm shift, developing infrastructures that leveraged the scalability and flexibility of cloud computing, it remained anchored in traditional hardware and software solutions. This reluctance to pivot became increasingly evident as the market evolved. Competitors began to flourish, offering innovative solutions that catered to the burgeoning demand for cloud-based services. It became clear that the future of computing was not merely dependent on powerful servers, but rather on a seamless integration of services accessible from virtually anywhere. This region of technological advancement was not fully explored. Leadership within the organization hesitated to dismantle legacy systems, clinging to outdated business models that no longer aligned with industry expectations. The unwillingness to adapt led to a gradual loss of market share. As clients flocked toward more agile providers, the once revered brand found itself increasingly isolated and unable to reclaim its former status. Amidst the rise of cloud computing, it became apparent that the fading company had overlooked its potential. What could have been a transformative journey into a new era instead resulted in a slow decline, marked by missed opportunities that would. What could have been a transformative journey into a new era instead resulted in a slow decline, marked by missed opportunities that would leave a lasting imprint on the technology landscape. Despite this decline, the cultural legacy of Sun Microsystems remains significant. Pioneering innovations in software and hardware shaped early programming practices and influenced developer communities. The introduction of the Java programming language fostered an environment of creativity and collaboration, inviting countless developers to explore its potential. This language became a cornerstone for building applications, facilitating cross-platform development that resonated throughout the industry. Their commitment to open systems and standards encouraged a shift in the way companies approached computing, promoting interoperability and accessibility. In this region of innovation, the company's ethos of "the network is the computer" inspired future generations to rethink connectivity and information sharing. The vision resonated in the rise of cloud computing and the Internet as a service model, laying the groundwork for modern digital infrastructure. Even as the once dominant firm waned, its influence extended far beyond its operational years. Educational institutions adopted its technologies, embedding them into curricula. The work culture fostered by Sun Microsystems, characterized by open communication and a drive for innovation, continues to inspire startups and established firms alike as they navigate the complexities of the evolving tech landscape. The influence of silicon graphics shaped competitive dynamics significantly during the 1990s. This company, renowned for its high-performance graphics workstations, drew attention away from Sun Microsystems, presenting formidable competition in visual computing and rendering technologies. Advanced graphics capabilities became essential for industries such as film, medical imaging, and scientific visualization, areas where silicon graphics excelled. The rise of this competitor prompted a strategic reevaluation within the fading company. Sun Microsystems, once at the forefront of innovative development, began to experience shifts in market perception. The allure of silicon graphics offerings resonated with creative professionals and businesses seeking superior visual output. This pivot in consumer preference highlighted vulnerabilities in Sun's product lineup, which increasingly seemed less relevant in a rapidly evolving marketplace. Simultaneously, the emergence of more affordable computing solutions further contributed to this decline. A new wave of personal computing devices and software began to erode the traditional high-end workstation market. As these alternatives gained ground, Sun Microsystems struggled to maintain its competitive edge, often caught in a cycle of reactive rather than proactive innovation. This environment of intense rivalry prompted a strategic pivot towards software development. The introduction of Java Enterprise Edition marked a significant moment in the company's history. It aimed to provide a robust framework for building and deploying enterprise applications. Optimistically, it positioned Sun Microsystems as a key player in software architecture, appealing to developers seeking scalability and reliability. Initial reception was favorable. Java Enterprise Edition's component-based architecture allowed for modular development, which facilitated the creation of complex applications with relative ease. This innovation drew attention from businesses looking to modernize their infrastructure. The flexibility and platform independence offered by Java became compelling selling points, leading to widespread adoption across various industries. Despite these advancements, the underlying challenges persisted. As competitors continued to innovate, the focus on software development did not fully shield the company from its declining hardware sales. Market dynamics shifted swiftly, with emerging technologies redefining customer expectations. Industry giants began to embrace cloud computing and open-source solutions, further eroding the traditional market share. The once promising software architecture initiative became a double-edged sword, as the company found itself struggling to balance its legacy systems with modern demands. The allure of Java Enterprise Edition, while significant, could not fully arrest the gradual decline of a company that had once been synonymous with innovation and leadership in the tech sector. The challenges of market adaptation emerged in the face of rapid change. This region, once bustling with the promise of groundbreaking technology, felt the weight of emerging competitors and evolving consumer preferences. The firm struggled to pivot its offerings, hampered by a legacy of established practices that no longer aligned with a swiftly transforming landscape. Diminishing sales figures illustrated the struggle to capture market share in an environment dominated by agile, responsive entities. This failure to adapt revealed a profound disconnect between its innovations and the emerging demands of a new generation of users. The once celebrated visionaries found themselves entangled in a web of bureaucracy, where decision-making became sluggish and uninspired. Conversations around cloud computing and open-source solutions flourished, leaving behind the firm's traditional, hardware-centric approach. The reluctance to embrace these trends reflected a broader hesitance to abandon established paradigms, contributing to an erosion of relevance. As industry leaders engaged in fierce competition, the fading company watched as its once loyal clientele gravitated toward more progressive offerings. In the quest for survival, initiatives were launched to revitalize its core products, yet these efforts often fell short of the mark. This trajectory of missed opportunities underscored a critical reality. Adaptability is essential in a landscape marked by relentless change. Contributions to education and open standards left an indelible mark on this region's technological landscape. Initiatives aimed at fostering computer science education germinated within the company, resulting in partnerships with various educational institutions. These collaborations provided schools with cutting-edge technology, including workstations that enhanced the learning experience for countless students. This commitment to nurturing future generations of engineers and developers bore witness to their understanding of the importance of cultivating talent within the field. The promotion of open standards further solidified their reputation as a pioneer. By advocating for interoperability and collaboration, they enabled disparate systems to communicate seamlessly. This approach not only broadened access to technology, but also democratized the digital landscape, ensuring that a wider range of organizations could participate in the technological revolution. They championed various protocols and software initiatives, laying the groundwork for an inclusive ecosystem that continues to resonate within the industry. The legacy of these contributions remains visible today, as educational institutions now emphasize the importance of open-source software and collaborative development, while the company faced challenges that the role of Sun's branding shifted markedly over the years. Initially hailed as an innovator, it captured the spirit of the burgeoning tech era. This identity was forged in a landscape where cutting-edge solutions were not merely advantageous but essential for progression. With a distinctive logo and a compelling slogan, the company positioned itself as a leader in workstation and server technology, appealing to developers and businesses alike. As competition grew, the once celebrated brand began to falter. It struggled to maintain relevance amid the rapid evolution of technology. The introduction of new players into the market diluted its presence, forcing it to rely increasingly on its legacy. This shift transformed its image from an innovator to a brand defined by nostalgia. The once vibrant innovations became relics of a past era, overshadowed by a new generation of computing solutions. In this region of corporate decline, the brand's messaging became less about groundbreaking advancements and more about preserving a storied past. The focus shifted to maintaining loyal customers rather than attracting new ones. It attempted to leverage its historical significance, but the attempt proved insufficient to reverse the decline. As market dynamics evolved, the fading company became a reminder of a time when it was synonymous with progress and ingenuity, now reduced to a legacy brand in an unforgiving landscape. The aftermath of Oracle's acquisition marked a significant shift in corporate strategy. New leadership sought to integrate Sun Microsystems assets within a broader ecosystem, emphasizing cloud solutions and enterprise software. This transition was not without its challenges. The once celebrated hardware lines became a secondary focus, overshadowed by the growing demand for software-based solutions. Resources were redirected towards enhancing the capabilities of Oracle's existing products, leading to the gradual phasing out of certain legacy systems. The workforce experienced alterations in structure as redundancies became unavoidable. Many skilled engineers and developers found themselves navigating a landscape that no longer prioritized their expertise, resulting in a sense of dislocation across the organization. With the integration, branding efforts shifted, and Sun's iconic logo faded into obscurity. The emphasis on cloud infrastructure and database technologies reshaped the identity of the once innovative firm. Market perception transformed as it became increasingly associated with Oracle's corporate ethos rather than its original mission of pioneering Unix systems. While some former clients adapted to the new offerings, many loyal customers felt disconnected from the brand they had once trusted. This evolution starkly illustrated the complexities inherent in amalgamating legacy companies into a modern technological framework, leaving behind a lingering nostalgia for an era characterized by distinctive innovation and independent vision. The evolution of workstation design reveals a significant shift in the technological landscape. Sun Microsystems once stood at the forefront, pioneering systems that combined powerful performance with an aesthetic commitment to engineering excellence. The workstations produced were emblematic of a time when computing was both an art and a science, attracting a devoted user base that valued their reliability and sophistication. As time progressed, competition introduced alternatives that began to redefine user expectations. These advances showcased a departure from traditional design philosophies. Emerging entities prioritized versatility and integration over the unique attributes long associated with Sun. This shift emphasized not only functionality, but also user experience, leading to a more democratized approach to computing. In these modern environments, systems are often characterized by their modular nature, allowing users to customize components according to their specific needs. This flexibility contrasts sharply with the once rigid architectures that defined earlier workstations. Performance benchmarks evolved, reflecting a broader array of applications, from graphics-intensive tasks to cloud computing solutions, all of which call for a different kind of design ethos. The remnants of Sun's legacy linger quietly, interwoven with the fabric of contemporary innovations. They evoke memories of groundbreaking advancements, yet also highlight the inevitable march toward a more homogenized tech landscape. This transformation quietly underscores the passage of time and shifting priorities in the realm of computing. The diminishing role of hardware reflects a broader shift within the industry as software-centric models continue to gain prominence. This transition has gradually rendered traditional hardware offerings less vital, eroding the once significant market presence of companies such as Sun Microsystems. The focus has shifted towards cloud computing, where virtual solutions overshadow physical infrastructure. Legacy systems, once hailed for their robustness, now linger in the shadows of modern operations. This change has resulted in a profound reevaluation of value propositions within the sector. The emergence of nimble software solutions diminishes the necessity for extensive hardware investments, compelling organizations to adapt rapidly or risk obsolescence. Within this landscape, Sun Microsystems' once esteemed workstations and servers now face diminishing relevance, overshadowed by the allure of scalable, flexible applications. Innovators prioritize software capabilities, seeking to harness the power of artificial intelligence and data analytics, while legacy hardware struggles to maintain its footing. As software continues to evolve, the emphasis shifts towards efficiency, integration, and user experience. The towering racks of once prized servers give way to cloud solutions, offering accessibility and convenience. This evolution brings with it a quiet but undeniable sense of inevitability as the landscape of computing transforms, leaving remnants of a bygone era in its wake. The absence of Sun Microsystems from the modern computing narrative illustrates the complexities of technological evolution. This influential firm played a pivotal role in shaping the Unix operating system, driving innovation and establishing standards that would permeate the industry. It introduced features that prioritized networking, scalability, and graphical interfaces, creating an environment in which Unix flourished. Many of the developments initiated by this company laid the groundwork for subsequent operating systems. The enhancements in performance and reliability established a benchmark that competitors sought to meet or exceed. Collaborative efforts with educational institutions and research facilities fostered a culture of innovation, ensuring Unix remained relevant during periods of rapid technological advancement. Despite these contributions, the rise of alternatives overshadowed the Unix legacy. Companies that embraced open-source models gained traction, creating a competitive landscape that diminished the once dominant position of Unix. The transition to cloud computing further complicated this dynamic, as new paradigms emerged, prioritizing flexibility and accessibility over traditional operating systems. This shift left the remnants of Sun Microsystems as a historical reference point, a reminder of an era marked by significant achievements. The future of Unix now exists within a fragmented ecosystem, where its principles continue to influence emerging technologies, albeit in a diminished capacity. The echoes of its legacy persist, quietly resonating through the innovations that followed. Strategic choices played a pivotal role in shaping outcomes, marking a pathway littered with lessons in business sustainability. Decisions regarding market positioning and product differentiation often framed the company's trajectory. As competition intensified, the firm struggled to adapt its offerings to meet the rapid changes in consumer expectations, revealing a disconnect between innovation and market demand. Resource allocation became a focal point. Investments in research and development, once a hallmark of progress, gradually shifted towards maintaining legacy systems, stifling potential breakthroughs. This redirection of focus created a chasm, allowing competitors to seize opportunities for growth and innovation. The corporate culture reflected a rigidity that hindered adaptability. Employees became entrenched in established protocols, resisting the need for transformative change. Leadership's reluctance to embrace new business models further exacerbated vulnerabilities, eroding the capacity for forward-thinking strategies. External factors, including shifts in technology and economic environments, introduced additional challenges. The rise of alternative platforms and cloud computing diminished the relevance of traditional systems. These dynamics underscored the necessity of agile responses to an ever-evolving landscape. As the firm faced declining market share, a critical lesson emerged. Sustainability in business requires not only innovation, but a willingness to pivot and recalibrate strategies in pursuit of enduring relevance and success. The cultural and technological footprint of Sun Microsystems represents a complex legacy, intricately woven into the fabric of computing history. Founded in 1982, it quickly gained prominence by pioneering workstations and server technologies that became industry standards. The commitment to open systems and collaborative development fostered a vibrant community that thrived on innovation. During its peak, the firm was synonymous with high-performance Unix systems, catalyzing advancements in software development and networking. This period saw the introduction of influential products such as the Solaris operating system, which not only showcased technical prowess, but also contributed to a broader understanding of system architecture. The early adoption of network computing principles helped shape the Internet landscape, embedding it further into the operational strategies of corporations worldwide. As time progressed, shifts in the technological landscape began to challenge the firm's dominance. The rise of low-cost alternatives and the emergence of new paradigms, such as cloud computing, gradually diminished its market position. Despite this decline, the cultural impact remained palpable, as many of its innovations laid the groundwork for subsequent developments in computing. The ethos of open collaboration and technological excellence persisted, serving as a silent reminder of a once vibrant entity that significantly influenced the industry's trajectory. This region now holds remnants of that legacy, both revered and quietly fading. The journey of the fading company began with an innovative spirit, transforming the landscape of computing in the late 20th century. Founded in 1982, it rapidly gained recognition for its pioneering contributions to Unix systems. Visionaries within its walls pushed the boundaries of technology, establishing a reputation for quality and reliability. As the demand for powerful workstations surged, it thrived, capturing the interest of both businesses and developers. This ascent, however, was accompanied by an undercurrent of competition. Rivals emerged, each vying for dominance in the increasingly crowded technology sector. The rise of personal computing and shifting market demands began to erode its once firm footing. In a landscape where adaptability was vital, it struggled to pivot effectively, losing sight of evolving consumer needs. Amidst the tumult, missteps became visible. Investments in various ventures failed to yield anticipated returns, and a once cohesive strategy fragmented into a series of misaligned initiatives. The vibrant culture, once a hallmark of its identity, dulled as key talent departed for greener pastures. The decline, gradual yet relentless, marked the transition from a leader to an entity grappling with its relevance. Today, the ruins serve as a quiet reminder of what was once a beacon of innovation, now overshadowed by the relentless march of progress. A subtle shift in the industry landscape became evident as Sun Microsystems faltered. The traditional computing paradigm, once revered for its robustness and reliability, began to show signs of obsolescence. This decline did not merely signify the fall of a single company, it reflected a broader transformation that resonated throughout the technological sector. Legacy systems, once a hallmark of stability, faced increasing scrutiny as newer models emerged, prioritizing agility and seamless integration. The emergence of cloud computing and open-source solutions revealed vulnerabilities within the outdated frameworks that organizations had relied upon for decades. Sun's struggle to adapt to these advancements underscored an unwillingness to embrace the dynamic nature of modern technology. The remnants of this once thriving enterprise illustrate a cautionary tale, emphasizing the necessity of innovation and responsiveness. As market demands shifted, the inability to pivot led to diminishing returns. Competitors seized the opportunity to fill the void, further entrenching the notion that stagnation could equate to irrelevance. This region, once bustling with creative energy and ambition, now stands as a stark contrast to the vibrant, agile environments fostering the next generation of technology. The echoes of Sun Microsystems serve as a reminder of the fine line between leading the charge and becoming a relic of the past.